RFK Jr., he claims to be a peace candidate. This ruins his whole peace candidacy, standing with Israel, right? And he knows that. It's inexplicable as to why he supports Israel, unless you understand that somehow or another, Mossad has dirt on him and got him to say what he says. Now, I didn't know this about RFK Jr. According to RFK Jr. himself, he's a rabid sex addict. Like, he's a deranged sex addict. And he's also a narcissist. He's got these, like, clear narcissistic tendencies. RFK Jr., he kept this private journal where he recorded all the women that he slept with. In the journal, when he wrote about his sex addiction, he would label each sexual encounter he had as, like, getting mugged. He'd say, the woman mugged me, and then I had to have sex with her. That's how he, like, justified it in his brain, because he's, like, a clinical narcissist. If that's a real thing, you know, I'm not a doctor, I don't know, but that's what they say. And he'd, like, villainize the woman and blame the woman, but, you know, we all know what was really happening. He clearly is a man with problems, very serious addictions. RFK Jr. is very easy to compromise, admittedly. All of that aside, we also know that RFK Jr. has flown on the Lolita Express on 2 separate occasions, at least, Jeffrey Epstein's private plane. Now, the story I heard is that RFK Jr., yeah, he did fly on Jeffrey Epstein's plane, but
Jeffrey Epstein, he kicked me off the plane because, you know, we landed early and I got kicked off the plane because my children were so annoying to him that he kicked us off the plane.
I'm like, that's the worst lie I've ever heard. That's a Mossad lie if I've ever heard one. Jeffrey Epstein was irritated by kids, so he kicked your whole family off? When has Jeffrey Epstein ever been irritated by kids or made a concerted effort to separate himself from children? That's your defense? Now look, I'm not saying anything nefarious happened. I don't know. There's been no accusations from what I understand. But how many of you were loaned a free flight on Jeffrey Epstein's private jet? Probably none of you. There actually is a list of people who were, you know, allowed to fly on Jeffrey Epstein's private plane, and a lot of those people have been outed as, you know, child predators. So I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying it's interesting that RFK Jr. is a peace candidate on so many issues. He calls for peace, but on Israel, he's not. He's got a sex addiction and a drug problem. Admittedly, he's very easy to compromise, and he flew on Jeffrey Epstein's plane twice, and his defense is that he got kicked off the plane with his family because his kids irritated Jeffrey Epstein. I'm like, Jeffrey Epstein separated himself from... Not the best defense.